Alright, welcome to another episode of just me talking about shit. Bro talk. Let's go ahead and get into what this is about. So basically, it's about one thing. We have the status of Vainglory and my opinion on it, and I wanted to clear some things up because I've heard some disheartening responses to, you know, my response about Vainglory. So, and this was primarily on Twitter. So let's go ahead and just talk about what I'm, as far as the reference material we're talking about here. So Vainglory, where is it at? Is it growing? Is it declining? Is it dying? So on, so forth. My honest opinion, I don't think Vainglory is necessarily dying per se. It's probably still growing at a fairly good rate, but the demographic of what is growing is different than what was before. So what I'm talking about is, yes, the esports scene is blowing up. It is going huge. A lot of big organizations are coming into the game. It's phenomenal for the future of Vainglory and the future of mobile esports in general. It's a huge feat that has been accomplished here by SAMC, and I cannot say I'm any more happy than I am now. I'm extremely happy that this is happening, and I'm a part of it. What's changed is the direction of what is being grown. So esports, for the most part, has always been a fine-tuned funnel of focus for Vainglory, and I understand why. I'm not saying it's wrong. I understand. But when it comes to the casual base side of the community, you know, the players who don't really watch the streams, the players who just want to play, the game isn't being advertised to the bulk of potential players that it could, because it's not running any kind of ad campaign like you would see Mobile Legends. What's probably 50%, if not more, of you probably saw right before this video was a Mobile Legends campaign being played as an ad. I can't do anything about that, guys. It just plays. I can turn it off, sure, but then, you know, this is my livelihood, so I can't necessarily do that. But, you know, it's things like that make a big difference in overall community size and financial stability for a game. And while they may not be hurting financially, which is perfectly understandable because they did acquire quite a bit of funding in the past, it definitely hurts people who try to build their lives around a game. And, you know, that's you're taking a risk if you're doing that in general. I took a huge leap of faith in Vainglory, saying, you know what, I'm going to drop out of college. Call me an idiot if you will, but this is my dream has always been to be involved with a game and make money off of that game, because I want to be able to support myself while doing it, because I enjoy it so much. I still want to be able to support my family, so hopefully I can make some money while doing it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And Vainglory was that. You know, I've always been passionate about Vainglory. I'm still passionate about Vainglory. I get a little bit uncertain about the direction of Vainglory, but we got to deal with it. But again, so people like me who try to build a somewhat sustainable lifestyle around the game, which has been actually fairly accomplished over the last 2.5 years, and I cannot say thank you enough to SCMC for all the help they've done for me in the past. You know, we've had some rough times, we've had some good times with SCMC. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't always, you know, rainbows and butterflies. It was sometimes, you know, a pool of toxicity and just pure poison. At times, you know, the relationship between me and SMC is 50-50, you know, and for the most part, you know, I've grown and matured because of these events, and I've learned to kind of see it in a broader perspective, which is actually very beneficial to me, and I really appreciate that I've been able to do so. So again, to recap, esports is definitely a huge focus, and I understand why, but casual has been suffering as far as bringing in new players are coming out all the time, but the rate of new players coming into the community, it seems to be lower. I'm not saying it is. It just seems to be lower, because I can see this is not just about me, guys. I'm taking a look at streams. You know, some of the streamers who are really prevalent back in the day, they would pull some pretty consistent viewers. I've seen Druid, who didn't really pull viewers like he used to on Twitch, which is very weird. I just thought that was very strange that the viewership is a lot lower than it used to be. And this may just be the time of the year. People were trying to tell me, hey, you know, viewership might be down across the board because it is exam time. People are starting to graduate out of high school, which is the general demographic, middle school, high school. People are taking exams, trying to get on to the next year in their educational life here, high school, middle school, whatever you may be, college even. So that's why there's a decrease in viewership. While that is valid, it's a valid point, this is something that's happened every year. It happens every single year. People go into the exams during a certain point in the year because people are graduating soon and they need to finish all their work, like tests and so on and so forth. But the drop in viewership has never been as substantial than it has this year, at least in my perspective. And correct me if I'm wrong, it could just be me, you know, but I try to look outside the box. I try to find, okay, let me find examples of things outside of me to see if maybe other people are affected too. And I can definitely see there's a decrease in viewership on Twitch. There's a decreased viewership in general across YouTube. I've had multiple YouTubers come to me and say, yeah, like I've definitely seen a change, a fluctuation in viewership, and not for the best as far as, you know, the outlook of the future of Vainglory. And, you know, people, you know, even the devs themselves can come to me and say, hey, you know, our game is growing substantially still. Like it's growing rapidly. That may be true as far as in the inner workings of Vainglory, but as far as the perspective on the casual side, some might think differently. And I did a poll. I was kind of curious. When I was thinking about all this stuff, I did a poll on my Twitter. You guys can probably go on there and find it. I didn't really pin it, but you guys can scroll through and find it. And I did a poll. And I said, do you think Vainglory is dying? I was curious. I was curious to see what the general consensus is in the community. Now, this is a smaller test portion of players. It doesn't encompass the entire population of Vainglory, so it's not 100% accurate. But out of almost, I think it was almost 900 votes on my Twitter poll, 56% said yes, it's dying. And I was like, whoa. Okay, so I put out a poll just kind of, you know, I wanted to inquire some information as to what the general consensus is in the community as far as what they perceive Vainglory as in the current state. And it was definitely not what I expected. I expected people to just kind of correct me and say, you know what, it's not dying, which I got some of those, but I got a lot more people thinking it is. And whether it's because I instilled that thought by the poll, or maybe these people were already thinking it and kind of didn't say anything because they didn't really care. They still play anyways, but it's kind of in the back of their head thinking, yeah, it seems different. You know, there aren't as many players per se as there used to be. A lot of people have friends that are leaving. I have so many people that used to play that just don't play anymore. Well, that is probably pretty common across any MOBA. You're going to have people who play come and go. But like I have a huge amount of people I've known for a while and just get up and quit because of one particular reason. It's boring now. And these are all veteran players, so I kind of understand, you know, playing for X amount of years does end up running dry for a while, your motivation to keep playing. But anyways, we're kind of derailing here. So let's get back on track. So pretty much, I've had people say, you know, I'm not even, because of my tweets on my Vainglory Twitter page, talking about, hey, you know, maybe they should advertise. You know, Vainglory is definitely the best top game for a MOBA on mobile platforms. No question. It is the best quality. It's a AAA title. It is the title that I would, you know, the game I would choose if I had to line up all the other games that are MOBAs on mobile. And it was my first time playing any MOBA, I would choose Vainglory. No question. Obviously, I've been playing for almost 3 years, so I mean, I want to try other things because it's interesting. But Vainglory is, you know, the most polished and most pristine game out there, in my opinion. And I would hate to see them not capitalize on advertisements. Not saying they don't have a plan for this. It's simply this: I'm an outsider looking in. I'm not a developer. I don't have inside information. You know, I don't really know what's going on in the inner workings of SCMC. And they probably already have, you know, done this 10 steps in ahead as far as thinking what they need to do. They're probably, you know, 1,000 steps ahead of me as far as what's the the calendar look like for Vainglory as far as what they're expected to do throughout the year. But as far as an outsider looking in, it's been 3 years almost. No advertisements have been done, and that's kind of disheartening because it's such an amazing game, and to not advertise such an amazing game and give it its opportunity to be at its peak is very, very questionable, especially for a content creator. So for instance, again, this kind of falls in line with Twitch streamers, YouTubers who kind of try to do this to kind of make a little bit more money towards ends meet, to kind of survive off of, because some of us actually do this for a living. And again, call me an idiot, but this is what I'm passionate about. And you know, I'm 30 years old. Sure, I'm playing video games, making money off of it. Maybe people will probably say, some people will say, you know, grow up, Rumbly, get a real job. This is technically a real job. I spend 40 hours plus a week trying to make everything work. And that encompasses a lot of things, not just recording and uploading. There's a lot more than just that. Any YouTuber who tries to go full on YouTube, like a career-wise, you'll know. They will know how much work it takes. Even streaming is a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of time and effort, and just thinking outside the box to keep your viewership engaged, which I've kind of fallen off a bit because, you know, just I've been sick lately, and just my thought pattern has been a little bit on the negative side. So I've been a little bit more depressed as far as how I am outlooking towards, you know, different aspects of my current situation, which I'm trying to correct. But when your livelihood completely revolves around one particular game for now, it's a little scary. So I'm starting to branch out, which you guys may have already seen. I've kind of already experimented with it in the past, but I'm trying to get ready for the next step if I need to. Unless Vainglory explodes, then, you know, I'm probably set for another couple of years, if not even more, if it goes to live on like League of Legends, which has gone on for, you know, a long ass time. But yeah, so again, you know, people are on my Twitter saying, you know, all these tweets about Vainglory, you're basically saying, you know, you're the top YouTuber, but you're the one trash talking them all the time. I was like, I'm not really trash talking. I'm just expressing my opinion per se, and just trying to see what they will respond. Like, I want information, but it's just not being relayed to me or the community in the fashion that I would want. And that's just me. It's, you know, just me expressing an opinion. Everybody is entitled to one, whether it's wrong, correct, or, you know, half wrong, half correct, whatever. Everybody's entitled to one, and they're allowed to freely express it. And I'm no different. Just because I'm the top YouTuber, which I don't give a shit about, just because I have the most subs doesn't mean I am the best channel out there, guys. It doesn't make me the top YouTuber. The top YouTuber is the one that puts their heart and soul into content that takes, like, for instance, it takes like 2 weeks to do a video. That one video that gets 200 views. 200. But that video is phenomenal, or the effort that was put into it. That guy deserves, you know, the title of the top YouTuber. Numbers doesn't mean anything, it's effort. And I'm not saying I don't put effort into it. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that I guarantee you there's probably people who try to make a livelihood on this game but can't. But they still press on and put all their time and effort into this, even though it doesn't come and make anything for them, except for the satisfaction of finishing it, the video, whatever they're doing. But yeah, if people were saying basically, I'm adding to the problem, I'm not fixing it. Well, I can't do much to fix it. Like, I'm just a content creator. I can make videos like this and talk about it. I can lie to you and say, no guys, Vainglory is doing amazing. They are growing substantially. Look at all the numbers on YouTube and Twitch, and you know, you can have, you know, just as many channels on here as League of Legends has channels, and everybody will be successful because there's just that many people playing and that much viewership to go around. No. There's a reason why, you know, there's only a few channels that really pull a lot of views. It's because no matter what, there's not enough viewership to kind of leak into the smaller channels without the effort of the bigger channels pushing traffic into there, which is not a big deal unless you really want to see the game grow and be successful in the mindset of knowing that the game's going to be around for a while. Games come and go. Like, there's games like this right now who I don't know actual numbers, but there are games who are of substantial size, bigger than Vainglory, that just stop because ideally they're not making enough profit to offset the development of the game and still pay everybody a rather acceptable sum to keep doing the work. And then investors, you know, they don't get their money back and they're going to drop their investments because they don't see large improvements. And I don't want to see Vainglory become that. I don't want to see Vainglory be this amazing game, which it already is, and it's starting to be even better, but lose its investors. I'm not saying it's going to, but, you know, I've seen in the past games that do. Or not even just games, it's people trying to make a company, trying to make a product, and it just does not do well enough to justify continuing to keep investments in there. Yeah, so there's that too. But yeah, I can't do anything to fix it, guys. I can keep making videos. I can lie to you, like I said, and just tell you false information, or just try to change the mindset of people around the community. But I don't want to lie to you guys. I want to be honest about my opinion too, and think, you know, hey, okay, clear the air. This is my opinion, 100% truthful. I love Vainglory. It's an amazing game. Do I think it's going to last the next 3 years? I honestly don't know. If you told me like 2 years ago when it first came out and it was starting to grow exponentially, I saw it on my channel, I saw it in the community, I saw all the Twitch channels blowing up, not just mine, you know, just Twitch channels in general. I'm like, this game's gonna last. This is gonna go far. I told everybody that this game is the next big thing. Everybody said that. But if you ask me that question today, do you think this game is the next big thing? I mean, it's fun. It's somewhat popular in the mobile community, but you know, for instance, like Heroes of the Storm came out, you know, around the same time, like 4 or 5 months before Vainglory, and it's a far bigger game. But then again, you know, it's backed by Blizzard, which is a bigger company and a lot more fame and presence than SMC. But just the fact of the matter is that there's games coming out now, Mobile Legends, which it's fun. Is it the future of mobile gaming as far as esports? I don't think so. I think it's definitely a big leap for the casual side, but I don't think it's going to trump Vainglory in esports by any means. And when 5v5 comes out for Vainglory, I think Mobile Legends is in for a special treat here. But currently right now, I've gotten these numbers from quite a few sources already. And this is ways, you know, you can know. There's certain ways to find out how much companies are making on an estimate. And it looks about, I forgot the exact numbers, but as far as Mobile Legends, it came out 6-7 months ago. And it's already top 16 in the most grossing charts, I think, in Canada. And right now it's like 95 or 85 in the US. And, you know, anywhere else, I'm sure it's somewhere up there, if not close nearby. But Vainglory, you know, and Vainglory has had, I've seen Vainglory being in the top 100. Like, it was like 105, close to the top 100. But I got something stuck in my throat. But ever since then, I haven't really seen it on the charts ever. Within my region, at least. But to be top 16 in a region is insane. That's a lot of profit in that region. It was above Pokemon Go. It was challenging things like Clash Royale almost. And that's crazy to think that Mobile Legends in 6 months has already passed every aspect of Vainglory as far as milestones, except esports. But yeah, and here's another kind of put in perspective too. And the reason why I'm using Mobile Legends is because it opens up your eyes as far as the success of Vainglory from a new company standpoint, because Mobile Legends was the Bang Bang, whatever the company's name is actually a newer company, at least in the area of mobile games, or MOBA games, excuse me. And so, they went from nobody to, now they're making, I think it's like 6 or 7 times the revenue of Vainglory. And now this has to do with ads. They're pumping out a lot of ad campaigns, and so that's why you guys are seeing all these ads. But that produces players, and that produces revenue, and that produces sustainability to some degree, a lot more than just natural growth. Because what happens is that, yeah, you get a lot of new players, a lot of them leave, but then you have a bigger pool of players to pull from that actually stay in the game. Rather than natural growth, you're pulling from a smaller, more focused group. I would say even more loyal. When it comes to natural growth, you have a more loyal fan base. Mobile Legends, they do ad campaigns, so you end up having a little less loyalty, but a lot more of an influx in community growth. And yeah, a lot leave, but then a lot, even though it's a small percentage of the overall scope of things, that small percentage is a lot of people who saw the ad who actually stay and keep playing. So it actually in turns, translates into revenue, and that's important for sustainability of a company, especially if you're trying to pay back investors and so on and so forth. Investors just don't give money to give money. They give money so you can make a product and then make them money in the future. That's the whole point of a venture capital, is to invest in smaller companies to make money in the future and profit off the success of other companies. That's the point. That's the ideal situation. Have so much money, like, this game is going to be successful, let me invest $10 million in them. To me, it's like maybe 5% of my total, earned revenue. But let me give them 10 million, and they're going to make me double what I currently make in the future, because they're going to be so successful. People, these venture capitals, are banking on Vainglory being like the next League of Legends as far as revenue gain and just relevance. Whether it's exposure, money, so on and so forth. And then when they see this game not really performing to the heights that maybe they set, and I don't know where that's set, they may be achieving it. Who knows? It may be. But, it may not be hitting that. And right now, as far as an outlooker looking in, and kind of somebody who kind of, in some small degree, understands the business side of the gaming industry, I'm not saying I'm 100% filled in on knowledge here, but just the overall general basis I can understand. I mean, it looks okay. A lot of esports relevance coming into the play, but the casual side seems to be a little bit smaller. And that's where the money rolls in. Esports for League of Legends. This may not be true anymore. It might be. But esports, what the whole purpose of esports is to keep people engaged. It's not to make money. Esports is not to make money for the company itself. A lot of times, esports is a negative return to a company. So like League of Legends, running a tournament with a prize pool of like I don't know how much it is, $2 million, we're just going to throw that out there. And then also getting the venue is another like $1 million plus, because you have the venue plus all the equipment plus all this other stuff that's included. It racks up price a lot. And so the esports scene is going to cost a company quite a bit of money. But what that does is it keeps its player base engaged and continually to play the game so that they can milk your money. That's literally what the idea of esports is to milk your money. At some point, esports might very well become like other sports, like physical sports, where like these big events actually make money. But for now, as far as I'm concerned, esports right now is not as developed yet to actually build in revenue as much as you think, at least. Right now, it's a negative return as far as League of Legends in the past years. While I don't know if that's still valid today, like I said, haven't really checked these facts in the last year, but in general, that's the idea of esports, is to keep viewership, keep players engaged in the game, because they want to emulate these players. They want to emulate these plays that are happening. They want to get those skins that these players are using, that kind of stuff. And so it's like basically an inspirational event. Inspire your players to continue to play and strive for higher goals, which also basically influence or incentivize spending money. So yeah, esports is great, but the casual side is important. Casual side is the bread and butter of what makes a company run. That's what makes it run. And so I'm going on for a long time here, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get all my thoughts out, and I might be repetitive, but I'm trying to just get everything out there. But the casual side needs to grow. It needs to continue to grow to sustain the game. And as things start to grow in esports, they need more revenue to keep pumping into esports to grow, make that grow. And that's where the casual side keeps filtering in the money. The more players you have, the more revenue you have to split off to different ventures like esports or just different extensions of the game, or heck, to broaden the company into different aspects of gaming in general, so different genres. This money that they generate needs to generate from the casual side, because esports isn't going to pull it in. But yeah, but developing esports definitely is a huge exposure. There's that too. It's a huge exposure when you start getting these big orgs coming into the game. You have a lot of news being circulated about the game that builds in a lot of viewership, a lot of player base. So maybe that's kind of where they're trying to direct it. They're trying to build that exposure through esports. I'm just kind of brainstorming what's the thought pattern of SCMC. Because if it was me at this stage, I can understand waiting for 5v5 and then doing advertisements, because of the fact that every MOBA that has been popular has been 5v5. Any successful MOBA on the PC side has been 5v5. That's the formula that works, that's been proven to work, and so therefore if you emulate that on a mobile platform and get people interested, and you show those advertisements to people saying, hey, we got 5v5 on mobile, that is a huge esport, check it out, you know, that's why they're going to advertise maybe after 5v5. That's the only reason why I can think they've waited so long. But the other end of the sword is a double-edged sword. You know, you have that aspect to where waiting might be beneficial because you have a more presentable product. But if you wait too long, you have other companies who come in and swoop up that audience before you can get to it. So Mobile Legends, they're coming in strong. They have all these ads being constantly pushed out. The game, while initially looked really shitty, is actually starting to look really, really nice and polished. They're starting to bring out higher quality characters, higher quality, you know, just overall UI adjustments, you know, gameplay, map visuals. Everything's starting to look crisp and nice. And they're updating all the old shitty stuff. And they've already come in and swooped in a large percentage of the casual player base from mobile MOBAs. Now, is that going to say that they're going to be able to keep it once 5v5 Vainglory comes out? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe when 5v5 Vainglory comes out, a lot of people are going to, you know, come over to Vainglory just because they know Vainglory is great, or they see that it has a higher potential because it's already an esport, and now they can have 5v5. That type of enjoyment that they have in Mobile Legends, the 5v5 aspect is now going to be in Vainglory, so they'll switch over. Who knows? But because they waited so long, that it might run the risk of them not being able to do that, not being able to bring back in that casual player base. And so what I'm trying to get to, guys, is I just don't want to see this happen. I want Vainglory to be the best. Always. It deserves it. It truly does. Mobile Legends, while it's a good game, you know, the company itself, they rush the product. And Vainglory, you can tell they don't rush the product. They don't rush anything. They make sure everything is great. Everything is, you know, in the best physical form it possibly could be, minus some bugs. That's inevitable. I've done programming myself, and bugs are inevitable. You're going to have them. You're going to have to adjust your scripts so that you can get those bugs out eventually. But you know, you're going to miss a few equations here and there. You're going to miss a few lines of script here and there just because it just bypassed you. And you're going to go ahead and add it in because you're going to get an error, and you know, and you're going to see it, so on and so forth. But yeah, so bugs are inevitable, but the sheer amount of polish that goes into Vainglory is leagues beyond any other game that's on mobile, in my opinion. any game. I think Vainglory is probably the most polished game, in my opinion, on mobile, period. So, sorry guys, I just want to stuck my throat, and I'm sick, so if I feel like it sounds like I'm getting a little bit weird sounding with my voice because that thing's stuck in my throat. I had a freaking Chewy bar before I recorded this, and now I'm doubting it. I'm not doubting it, I'm regretting it. But anyway, so that I don't want to see Vainglory fall. I don't. And so when I see these trends that indicate that it is, whether it's true or not, you know, I kind of want to get a consensus on my Twitter saying, what do other people think? And maybe I can kind of, the only thing I can do is kind of, hey, nudge Vainglory, like, yo, see what people think about your game? Yo, you know, we should fix this, you know, let's fix it, you know, something like that. People think your game's dying. 56% of the people in this poll thought your game's dying. Even though you say it's not, people think it, and that has a huge influence over the general community. It brings a lot of negativity, it brings a lot of doubt in the community about the future of Vainglory. And while it may not even be true, people are thinking it, and yes, because I say something, more people might think it. But at the same time, this brings the attention. This brings the issue to the attention of SCMC. Because how do they know people are thinking this without people speaking out and saying it? How do they know? How do they know? So someone has to speak out. And I'm not saying I speak for everybody. I'm just saying I'm another person speaking out about it. I don't speak for anybody but myself. But I'm just another person talking about it. And yeah, so that's that. Am I going to stop Vainglory? No. Have I stopped playing as much? Honestly, yes, I have. I still rank enough to keep my VG, or within reason. And when 5v5 comes out, I guarantee you I'm going to go ham with that. I love 5v5 MOBAs. And talents are going to be amazing too. And again, I want to kind of go back and reference the concept of casual side. They are working towards it. I'm not saying they're not, but I felt like the timing is a little late. And hopefully it's not too late, because they're bringing out a lot of UI adjustments. They're bringing out a lot of quality of life adjustments, more accurately to say. They're focusing more into the casual side mode. So brawl mode, they brought out, you know, Battle Royale, which was kind of their first venture into the casual side. Then they brought out Blitz mode, which is even better than Battle Royale in my opinion. Now they're bringing out talents for both those modes. I assume a map is probably on the calendar for this year, if not early next year, hopefully, because that would really solidify that scene as far as making it unique. Right now we've been playing the same map for 3 years almost. It's time to change the scenery. But I guarantee you that's already something on the radar, and they've already started to develop towards it, probably. So I mean, work is being done. I just hope it's not too late. But there's other things I think they can do to kind of improve it, which is just build a bigger audience. A bigger audience means more money for them. More money means faster production, or just higher quality production. If they don't want to sacrifice, you know, the time they take, then they can, you know, just boost the quality. Not be rushed because they have more money. Maybe they don't want to be rushed even if they have more money, but they want to bring out better quality stuff to the game. You know, be able to have a production team who can work on the map. Have a separate production team that can work on 5v5 mode. You have a different production team that works on skins, so on and so forth. And they may already have this, but to kind of build into those different sectors into the company, more and more money makes it easier and easier and easier. You know? That's how business works. Things get easier over time. Technically, I mean, it may not be because you get more and more stacked onto your calendar here, but you know, each division should get easier and easier because it's divided more with more employees. It makes things easier, makes more fluid, more, you know, professional, so on and so forth. It's like saying, okay, you one guy, you work on the 5v5 map. You one guy work on the skins. Well, that's 50% of my production team because I have only 2 other guys, and they're working on something else. It's gonna take forever. You know, so we have to funnel all our efforts, all 4 guys, into one thing, when we can split our stuff and work on multiple things if we get more people for hire. But yeah, anyways, that's enough, guys. I'm done talking. This is a long-ass video. I apologize. But hopefully it's very insightful as to what I'm kind of getting as far as context of my tweets. I'm not trying to be super negative in any way, while sometimes I might have a bit of bitterness kind of creeped in there. It's only because I care about the game. Just like, you know, in a relationship, when you know, your girlfriend always tells you, or your wife always tells you, when I show I'm mad at you, it's because I showed you that I care. You're like, oh, okay, so when you're not mad at me, are you saying you don't care? Wait a minute. But yeah, it's that kind of concept. When you don't show a game that you're a little disgruntled with a bit of their decisions, maybe that just shows that you really don't care about the future of the game. Or maybe you just don't really disagree with anything they do. But anyways, there we go. Hopefully you guys, again, thought this was a bit insightful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully this clears up a lot of information as far as what was missing in the context of my tweets. See you guys next time. Later.